Good to see you. Grab a seat. Let's have a talk. My name is Jarrell. If you're new to the channel here, then welcome. It's nice to meet you. So today we'll discuss game key cards for the Nintendo Switch. People are angry that there is now going to be a new kind of cartridge that does not have the entirety of game data on the cartridge, and that you have to now download the game in order to play it. Let me make something clear. I am not here to tell you how to feel or how to think. I will share with you a wider, more well-considered perspective of these topics, and you can choose to either accept reality and take that information on board, or you can reject it and disagree with me. It's your choice.
Douche chill.
Okay, pause. You're saying that you're not telling people what to think, but then you follow it up by basically insinuating that if we don't agree with what you're saying, then we're denying reality itself. See, this patronizing attitude of yours is what affected the previous video, because I didn't even show it, but in the previous video, you opened up by saying, oh, this is a conversation for adults, insinuating that anybody who doesn't think the way you do or talk about it the way you do is immature and childish. And you're doing the same thing here. And I'm here to tell all of you that no, it's perfectly fine to be having the attitude you're having. You don't have to pretend to act calm and relaxed like this guy who develops games for Nintendo, so obviously he doesn't want to badmouth the company.
I am not telling you that you're not allowed to be angry. You are. You can choose to feel however you want. Now, today I'll share my knowledge and wisdom with you, not just as an industry professional, but as an adult who is watching the world and paying attention.
There he goes, he does it again! How do you guys subscribe to a dude who talks down to you like this? He's the only adult in the room. Now, of course, only adults would reason and accept a corporation ham-fisting them for years. That's the adult thing to do. The childish thing to do would be to stand up and ask for better. That's not what an adult does. Adults roll over and they surrender, and they wear suits and stand in front of green screens.
It is very sad to hear from so many people in the comment sections who have resigned themselves to never having any actual understanding of the world and life.
Bro, what the f are you talking about? The majority of people responding to you are those who are adults with money in their pockets that they work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week to pay for their bills, food, and provide their families a roof over their heads. They have a very good understanding of the world. They have a very good understanding of price and value, and can very well see when someone is screwing them over. You're acting like you know these things better than anybody else. Acceptance is not wisdom. Acceptance is not knowledge. Acceptance is not intelligence. So miss me with that Smash Bros. Pin button on your suit. Your bias is way too obvious here.
If you view the world through a narrow perspective, then your understanding of the world will be narrow. There is no aspect ratio wide enough to give you a real, genuine understanding of the world and the people in it.
That's funny because, you know, I'm pretty sure like at least 90% of your audience was watching this video through that exact same aspect ratio on that mobile phone you just showed us. You're using the same platforming methods, and you think you're so special and different. That's hilarious. Because for every outrage clickbaiter there is, there's another trying to damage control and get you to sympathize with corporations. And you're the latter of the two. Do not try to act better than your counterparts.
The internet, especially social media, is training people to react to everything with a knee-jerk childish, angry response without giving any kind of deeper consideration to any topic. So let me ask you something. Do you want to be surrounded by people who are thoughtful and intelligent? Or do you want to be surrounded by people who immediately respond to everything by throwing a tantrum and trying to make everyone around them angry? The world will be what you make it.
Yeah, that's nice and all, but we're 2 minutes in and your video is 6 minutes long. So you're burning up precious time where you could be explaining to us why we're wrong and not being too thrilled about the fact that Nintendo is selling you $80 carts that don't have games on them. And, sometimes trying to put on this persona of being calm, relaxed, well collected is a giant waste of time because you're not getting any point across. 2 minutes in and your only point is, I'm superior to you, I'm smarter than you, be me.
I'm not always going to be here to give you the answers. One day, we'll have to say goodbye. I'll have to leave, and you will have to learn to think for yourself.
Have you ever heard that song by the Beatles? Think for yourself? Oh, nah. George Harrison, mate. So he fucking knew it.
What a fucking douchebag. Oh my god, dude. It's so patronizing. Well, luckily for you, Sungrad, I've never turned to you for answers, okay? Your videos portray this pseudo-intellectual. There's nothing authentic about your videos. They're fake. How long must you continue to gas yourself up like such an arrogant prick? Explain to us why we're wrong.
With that out of the way, there is no reason to be angry about game key cards. People have utterly and absolutely misunderstood this topic entirely. Games are not being forced to launch as game key cards. Nintendo has given no indication that any games will be game key card exclusive. Take a look at the current gaming landscape. What do we have right now? We have game boxes being sold that don't even have cartridges inside. They only have download codes, and it is always difficult to tell. You have to look extremely closely and read the entire box before you even figure it out. We have cartridges being sold that barely have any data and don't function at all. Right now. That's happening right now. When was the last time you purchased a Switch cartridge only to find that the game can't run because it requires a huge download and you don't have enough space on your storage to even download the required portion of the game? What's the point of the cartridge then?
And that's the benefit of console gaming. Well, it was, all right? As a PC gamer, I'm restricted to digital only. The benefit to console gaming is that you had physical media, and it's been stripped and minimized to download keys on a disc. And the same applies to Nintendo, and that's a problem. A problem that needs to be sorted out. A problem that Nintendo could have fixed by putting down a policy that forced developers to include the entire game on these carts. Cyberpunk will be complete on a cartridge, but you know what won't? Bravely Default, and that's a far smaller game, because Nintendo has given these companies leeway to do whatever they want, and what these companies want is for you to not truly own their games. It's something that, console users should continue to fight for, because without physical media, there is no video game preservation. It will get increasingly harder for people to preserve games through emulators if the only source for these games comes from these companies' servers. It's not impossible, but it will get harder. But the biggest problem arises from the fact that these games are going to be somewhere between $80 to $90 or $70, and there's no game on the cart, and you will be priced just as much as everyone else. This is not good consumer practice. Just because it exists already doesn't make it any better when Nintendo adds to the problem. These companies are not doing this because they can't find a workaround. These companies are doing it because they don't want you to have actual game ownership in the next 10 years. Because when you don't actually own something, you have to rebuy it over and over and over again, and that is a practice Nintendo loves. It's why they work so hard taking all that money you give them and investing it in shutting down emulators. That way, you can replay everything on their subscription-based service that doesn't include even a fraction of the games you were emulating. If they want to charge these prices, there better be more than just a box. There needs to be a game cart. There needs to be a manual. There needs to be a strategy book. There needs to be way more than a digital code.
Think about it. We already have games that function the exact same as game key cards. The only difference is right now, publishers are being dishonest about it. It is not fair to consumers, to gamers, to be dishonest about the product like this. So how do you fix a problem like this? Transparency and honesty.
No, that is not how you fix a problem like this. That is how you damage control. That is how you mitigate the outrage. That is not a solution. Telling people ahead of time that they won't actually own the game on the cart that they're buying for $80 doesn't make it better. Well, I mean, I guess it does ever so slightly, but it does not correct the real issue. What kind of video is this? Like, whose side are you on? The consumers or Nintendo? Honesty doesn't make prices better, okay? Because you asked the same question yourself. What is the point of the cartridge? And you haven't even given an answer for that. This video is even worse than your last one. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? See, sometimes I wish you weren't transparent and honest and told us that you develop games for the Switch, because it does seem like your own self-interest is playing a role here. The way Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo have all allowed companies to release games that are not fully on the physical media you purchased is stripping consoles of the one benefit they have over PC gaming. Like if someone goes and purchases Bravely Default Physical Edition and they're ready for a road trip and then they pop that sucker in and they can't play it, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of portability? Switch cartridges should not lose the benefit to them.
If a publisher sells a game on a cartridge that doesn't even have the whole game on it, they should be required to at least tell customers that. Shouldn't they? If only there was some company who actually cared about the user experience for its customers. If only there was a company that actually cared about transparency and honesty and accountability. Oh, what's that? Oh, Nintendo has implemented a policy so publishers have to disclose if the entire game is on the cartridge? If you look at the wording of Nintendo's announcement, the difference is that entire games must be on standard cartridges. Look at the wording and read it for yourself and figure it out.
You can't be fucking serious with this guy. He thinks Nintendo's a company that's transparent and honest, and these guys literally put a button on the Switch 2 that you can't use unless you subscribe to their service. Officially monetizing buttons on a console. Isn't that crazy? This dude has got to be the biggest Nintendo bootlicker I have seen on YouTube thus far. He's giving Harmon Smith some tough competition. The most baffling part to me here is how he starts off saying, if only there was a company that cared about the user experience. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Nintendo is just barely now giving you game chat features built into the system, and they're charging you for it. How is that caring for the user experience? They couldn't even bother to build that into the first Nintendo Switch. And now that they've built it in the second one, they feel entitled to charge you for it when it's free everywhere else. I mean, yes, letting people know ahead of time which games actually are on the carts and which aren't is better, but it's not a solution. And it doesn't mean Nintendo is a caring company, because if Nintendo cared, they would be telling these publishers, you put your full game on the cart or you don't publish on our platform at all. Or if you don't want to put your full game on the cart, then you can only sell digitally, because we want our physical media to actually have value and not be some representation of physical media, but to actually be physical media. On top of that, they are charging you more now for the physical media, and that is to incentivize you to go for the digital options, because Nintendo, much like Sony and Microsoft, are working to get rid of physical media. They don't want you to own your games. Why would they when they can sell all of that back to you or make you pay a fee to play it through their servers? The point is lost on this guy. He's like in complete denial that Nintendo is going down the same road Sony and Microsoft have. Who could have seen that coming? Anybody but a Nintendo fan, I guess.
Publishers are not going to be allowed to be dishonest about the physical product they are selling anymore. Nintendo is now requiring publishers to label their games with a specific category so the customers know immediately whether or not the game is fully on the cartridge, and that way customers can make informed buying decisions. Again, no game is being forced to be game keycard exclusive. Nintendo has not had any sort of evidence to indicate that they will be releasing games as game keycard only. That is merely a knee-jerk, childish reaction that people are having on the internet because they don't pay attention.
Yeah, that's great and all. You know, they're forced to tell you ahead of time, but you know what they're not forced to do? They're not forced to put the entire game on that cart. And Nintendo's perfectly okay with them selling it to you. Like, no shit. We know nobody's being forced to do it. The problem is they should be forced not to do it. Do you understand this? There's no reason a game like Bravely Default should not all be on a cartridge. Zero reasons. You have to give a good, solid reason as to why people shouldn't be upset about that, and you haven't. Instead, you're just telling us Nintendo's the good guy here. They're telling people to tell you ahead of time. Thanks, Nintendo. You know, telling people ahead of time that game chat has to be paid for doesn't make it better. And the same goes for non-physical media that's pretending to be sold as physical. At that point, they're just selling you a game box. And then just telling people they're having knee-jerk reactions, really? Is that what you told them when Sony and Microsoft did the same thing and allowed publishers to sell them blank discs? I bet not. I bet you were against that, just like you are against this. The only difference is there's some damage control being sprinkled in for Nintendo, and that's just gross. I mean, come on.
I wonder what this new category of game cartridges should be called so that customers know immediately what they're buying. I'm going to give you a moment. See if you can figure out what this new category of game cartridge could be called. Have you figured it out yet? Hey. 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 Look here. Are you paying attention?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Look at him. So patronizing again. You know what, Sungrad? I have a feeling you watched my video where I put you in it and you were not happy, and this is a direct response to me. I can tell your arguments are falling apart because they're all coming out of emotion. This is the most emotional I've ever seen you in a video. You're condescending. You're talking down to your viewers. You're making it seem like that transparency makes the whole thing okay. No. Giving developers the freedom to not put the full game on cartridges or discs is bad practice. It's not good. Even if you put a little sticker or you label it a specific way that lets them know. These companies want you to buy digital. They want you to forget physical exists, and you shouldn't let them do that. The way you're snapping your fingers at people right now, you're not acting like an adult. You're acting like some cat lady telling her cat to stop scratching the sofa, thinking that it will listen to you. One of the biggest benefits to console gaming is not just physical media, but the plug and play aspect, and that is being lost each console generation. The way online requirements basically killed the Xbox console brand are now being defended for the Nintendo Switch.
What have you got there? What do you... Give me your phone. Give me that. What is this? Cocoa melon? Were you not paying attention to anything I just said? Forget it. Take your cocoa melon back.
Oh, believe me, I've been listening too much. I can't believe I even entertained your defense of this. Ridiculous. I mean, again, he thinks anybody who disagrees with him is a child, hence the cocoa melon joke that I guess is supposed to be really funny, but dude's about as funny as Alex. What an absurd defense. Like, talking down to at least well over half your audience like they're children, and that you're so much better and superior, and that you hold the truth and everybody else who doesn't agree is just denying reality. Like, this entire video structure is meant to make you look like the smartest man in the room, but all you look like is a fanboy. You didn't get your message across because it wasn't well thought out to begin with. This was clearly your most emotional video. You went on camera angry that not everybody in your comment section agreed with you. Welcome to YouTube. It's easy when they all agree with you when you're just shitting on Assassin's Creed, but when it comes to Nintendo, oh, man has to perform damage control. It's ridiculous. Nintendo doesn't deserve this defense. They have games that are great, but not great enough to be letting them get away with any of this. Shame on you. Truly, I hope I don't have to see you do this again, because I'm not going to be nice about it. And I've been trying my best, but I cannot stand people who do this. Your attitude is anti-gamer. And to hell with it, I'm done. I don't want to sit through any more of this guy's videos. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. Help me get to 80,000 subs. I feel like I deserve it. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.
Fritango sucks ass.